Vaughn Grissom finally made his Boston Red Sox debut over the weekend as the Red Sox took one of 3 games against the Minnesota Twins.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Hurlbut, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast, and I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed for free. Yes, that's right. You heard that correctly. It is free, so you really have nothing to lose by listening to it. So might as well start your day off the right way and take advantage of it by tuning in to Locked On Red Sox. Locked On is your team every day. Game off. We gotta talk about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go, now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Welcome to Locked On Red Sox and happy Monday. I am wishing you a good week. Hope everything goes well for you. I know Mondays are always such a grind, getting back into the work week after what was hopefully a nice weekend for you. I know it was a nice busy weekend for me. Those of you who are big Boston sports fans got to see the Bruins win a very wild and stressful Game 7 against the Maple Leafs, but they pulled it off. No longer a repeat of last year. They got through and they are set to start their next series tonight. I am very excited. Hopefully they can pull off another series, but geez, that was nerve-wracking. And speaking of teams in Boston, the Red Sox didn't have a great performance over the weekend. They dropped 2 of 3 in their series against the Twins. They lost Friday night's game 5-2 and Saturday's game 3-1. So not a lot of offensive productivity in the first 2 games of the series, but they did win Sunday's game when the offense woke up and the Red Sox won 9-2. So just an absolute offensive explosion by the Red Sox in the last game of the series, which is absolutely what we like to see. And one notable player that played in the series was Vaughn Grissom, who finally made his Red Sox debut. I had done this whole episode last week about Grissom coming back. He was supposed to come back earlier in the week last week, and then he ended up with the flu, so he could not play. And I said, wow, just my luck that the same day that I drop an episode about Vaughn Grissom coming back, he ends up with the flu and gets sidelined. I mean, what are we talking about here? Definitely a little upsetting to get all excited about him coming back and then have to wait a few more days. But he finally made his return, and he did play in 2 out of the 3 games. He wasn't in the lineup on Saturday, but it was due to a scheduled rest day. So nothing wrong with him, just was supposed to be resting that day. He was in the lineup on Friday for the Red Sox and went 0 for 3 that day. And I tried to tell you in my episode last week about Vaughn Grissom that don't be surprised if he doesn't have a great day at the plate in his first game with this team, because for one, it's exactly that. His first game in a Boston Red Sox uniform, he wants to make a good impression, and it's one of those situations where there could be a lot of pressure on a player, especially with how hyped up he had been prior to that, because he was somebody that was very well desired by the Braves. They liked him. They valued him. They just have a ton of talent over there, and they just didn't have room for him. But because they wanted Chris Sale and they saw the value that Chris Sale could have, they were willing to part ways with Grissom, even though it wasn't an easy parting for them. So there's been a lot of talk about Vaughn Grissom and his potential. So that alone can be a lot on a player mentally when they're having to lock in and go play their first game in a team's uniform. So he was trying to make a good impression, and that could be tough. So he did go 0 for 3. Also, his first game back after being out for a while and being sidelined with an injury and then the flu and not being able to hit at the major league level for an extended period of time. So definitely needs to get himself back into the swing of things offensively. So he did go 0 for 3, and I was not rattled at all by that. I kind of expected some sort of performance like that. And then he was in the lineup on Sunday and recorded his first hits in a Red Sox uniform. He went 1 for 5 at the plate and recorded 2 RBIs. He absolutely ripped a double. So it was very nice to see that he was showcasing a little bit of power, and in a ballpark where it's hard to showcase power, because there were some balls that were hit very, very deep that looked like home runs. I mean, Carlos Correa hit one on Saturday that I thought was a home run. Rafael Devers had one in the series that looked like a home run and wasn't, and would have been a home run in a lot of other ballparks. So that's a hard place to showcase your power. And the fact that Grissom showcased his power in the game by ripping a double was very exciting to see for a player that we're still trying to feel out and see what he's going to be in this lineup. So he got his batting average up to a 125 on the season, because it's also taking into account his 0 for 3 performance on Friday. 125 on base percentage and 250 slugging. I only expect that to go up from here. I truly believe everything that's being said about Grissom in terms of his potential and his ability to really be a key piece for the Boston Red Sox moving forward. And now that they seem to have solidified the middle infield situation moving forward with having Cedar Rafaela play shortstop and Vaughn Grissom play second base, that seems to be what they're going to roll with for the rest of this season moving forward generally. And honestly, I am okay with that, because it's better to have some consistency and set the tone that you want to have a definite shortstop and a definite second baseman. And having that combination of Vaughn Grissom and Cedar Rafaela allows the Red Sox to accomplish just that. So that's going to seem to likely be the combination moving forward for the rest of the season. So I am curious to see Vaughn Grissom's defense moving forward. He did make a couple nice plays in this series against the Twins, but I want to see what he can really do defensively, because there are definitely some things that were expressed in his scouting reports going into the season after he was traded to the Red Sox about just some concerns about his defense. So I'd like to see how he can compete defensively. But overall, I do think at the plate, he's going to be a very good talent, and he's going to contribute to this Red Sox lineup, and we're going to start to see some really good things from him. And if that hit that he had on Sunday is any indication of what he's going to give us offensively moving forward, then that's definitely something to be very excited about. He had a great swing. He looked very confident with it, and he just absolutely ripped that pitch. And I truly think for him, it's a matter of getting himself acclimated to being part of this team, playing in Boston, and being surrounded by a new clubhouse and getting used to that vibe, as opposed to being with the Braves. So there's definitely an adjustment period that's going to take place for him. But overall, I'm looking forward to seeing that power, seeing if he can continue to showcase some of that as he moves forward with this season, and looking for how is he going to respond when he's down in a count, because that's something that a lot of younger players need to establish once they get into the league and work on a little bit. So if he's down in the count, how is he going to respond to that? He didn't record any strikeouts on Sunday when he did record his first hit, which was awesome. And he also didn't record any strikeouts on Friday either. So that tells me that he is off to a good start in terms of his ability to avoid swings and misses and be able to make contact regardless of what the pitch might be. So that pitch recognition seems to definitely be there in terms of having that knowledge of what he should and shouldn't be swinging at. So he's definitely off to a good start there, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he continues to progress as the season goes on and how he contributes to this Boston Red Sox lineup. Coming up, how did the pitching do overall in this series for Boston? I'm going to be breaking that down next. Are you struggling to close deals? B2B selling is tougher than ever, and that's why I want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn's Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That is linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon and get started. I'm telling you, I used to work in sales, and if I had this opportunity then, it would have been an absolute game changer for me. So absolutely take advantage of that today. All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that. But there is just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. Unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini-games, like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go, so get off the bench and go download it now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. If anybody's interested in challenging me in Monopoly Go, I totally will take you up on that. So join in the fun and download it today. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. If you are looking for a way to stay caught up in all things going on in sports, Locked On Sports Today absolutely is the place for you. As the Red Sox dropped 2 of 3 games against the Twins over the weekend, one of the biggest standouts to me was the fact that the Twins just had very good pitching. I mean, they are a very competitive team, and they will be legitimate this year. I definitely see them as a playoff team. They were on a big win streak. They had won 12 games in a row prior to Sunday when the Red Sox broke that winning streak by pulling out a game in the series and avoiding getting swept. But they are very good, and the Red Sox struggled to get a lot of things going at the plate the first couple games, but we do have to highlight the Red Sox pitching overall in the series. Tanner Houck did go 6 innings in Friday's game. giving up 4 runs, but 3 of them earned, also walking 2 and striking out 5. And overall, I will say Houck did not look his best on Friday night, certainly did not bring his best stuff by any means, but he still managed to generally get the job done for the most part. And I'm so glad that one of those earned runs was not actually charged to him. It ended up going down as an error, so they took it out of his start. So therefore, he only gave up 3 earned runs, but unfortunately, he did take the loss because the Red Sox blew it. Uesawa came in after him and pitched 2 innings, giving up 2 hits and 1 earned run. He also walked 2 and struck out 2, but it was an absolute disaster of an inning because Reese McGuire made a throwing error on a sacrifice bunt. He should have just thrown the ball to first base and gotten the out there, but for some reason he thought he could make a play at second base, so he rushed the throw, threw it down to second base, and the throw was bad, so therefore a run scored on that. And then Uesawa took a pitch clock violation with the bases loaded, so it ended up being ball 4 and a run scored. So that was also very bad. He also walked another batter in the inning. So it was just an absolute mess. Uesawa did not have it, and it was a bummer for Tanner Houck because he overall looked good and he deserved to get a win on the mound, but that didn't happen. The Red Sox could not produce enough offense, and Uesawa on the mound did not look very good. And then Saturday comes along. The Red Sox lose 3-1. They could not produce much offense in that game. 8 hits, but left a lot of runners on base, and that was definitely tough because the Red Sox have gotten into that habit already quite often this season where they strand a lot of base runners. So not ideal there, and could not get the hits at opportune times. But it was a bullpen game on the mound, so a lot of times you don't really know what to expect from bullpen games and what you're going to get from the pitching staff. But Bernardino went 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, 1 run, but it was unearned, and he did strike out 1. And then Greg Weissert came in, pitched 2 innings, giving up 1 hit, 0 earned runs, and struck out 3. Cam Boozer came in, pitched 1.1 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run, striking out 2, and he gave up a home run in his part of the outing, so definitely not ideal there. Justin Slayton, who has been great for this Red Sox team, pitched 1.2 innings. He gave up 3 hits and 1 earned run and struck out 1, but Justin Slayton, I mean, it's not being talked about enough how good he's been for this Red Sox team. 0.95 ERA. I mean, this guy's been very good, and I'm so glad the Red Sox picked him up because he has so much potential to succeed for this Red Sox team moving forward. So if there's anything to take away from the pitching on Saturday, he was very good. And then Chase Anderson came in to finish it off, pitched 2.0 innings, giving up 1 hit and 0 earned runs, walked 1 and struck out 1. So the Red Sox overall did not have the worst pitching performance they could have had for a bullpen day, and the main issue was really not the pitching in that game. It was just the lack of opportune hitting and the Red Sox not being able to get those runs across the board. So in the bullpen game in general, the Red Sox really did not look bad, and this pitching staff continues to impress overall and surprise people. I don't think a lot of people thought that the Red Sox pitching staff would be among the best in baseball after a little bit over a month into the season. So I like to see the fact that they are still pitching well. And then on Sunday, pitching again was good. Cooper Criswell went 4.1 innings, giving up 5 hits and 1 earned run. He walked 1 and struck out 5. He has a 1.74 ERA, and that's something that's definitely noteworthy because he wasn't even in the starting rotation to start the season. He was in AAA, and then circumstances led him to get his opportunity in the majors because of injuries. So he became part of this rotation, and he's looked very good in his time since being called up. And I've been very impressed to watch him on the mound and see what he has to offer, because if he keeps this up, he definitely can make a case for being deserving of a true, more consistent starting rotation spot moving forward. So that was definitely impressive to watch from him. Brennan Bernardino, who actually got the win in the game, went 0.2 innings, giving up 0 earned runs and striking out 1. So he made a quick appearance, especially because he had been used also on Saturday. So the Red Sox didn't really want to overuse him, which was fine. And then Zach Kelly pitched 1.2 innings, giving up 1 hit, striking out 2 and giving up 2 walks, but no earned runs. Cam Boozer did not give up any earned runs either, just pitched 0.1 innings. Also another one who wasn't really going to throw a lot of pitches on Sunday because he also pitched on Saturday, so didn't expect him to be out there that long. Josh Winkowski pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 hits and 1 earned run, but overall looked pretty good. And then Kenley Jansen, who got to pitch because he hadn't pitched in a few days, went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, but overall looked pretty good. And can we just talk about Kenley Jansen for a second? 1.69 ERA. And if you look back at all of his outings from this year so far, it might seem like his ERA should be a lot higher than that because he's been an absolute roller coaster to watch, and he's put us as a fan base through a lot of nerves when he's taken the mound this year. And it's not always easy with him, but the crazy part is that he's managed to get it done pretty much every single time. And even though he creates some stress along the way, he still is the closer and he still has been a reliable closer. And that's something to me that has been key for this Red Sox team too, because going into the season, Kenley was definitely a big question mark and whether he was going to be sustainable and be able to consistently close out games well, because last year he definitely was very iffy. Overall, he got the job done, but he did have his problems during the season. So my biggest thing going into this season was, for one, can he maintain his health all season long? Because he did experience some issues with injuries during spring training. So can he stay healthy? And can he put up enough competitive numbers to be considered a reliable closer on this pitching staff? So far, he certainly has been doing that, and the Red Sox pitching staff as a whole has been a lot more surprisingly good than people would expect. And when you look at the series against the Twins, was it frustrating? Yes, for sure, but the pitching was really not the source of that. The pitching overall looked pretty good still. It was just a matter of the fact that they were facing really good pitching on this Twins team, and the Red Sox had a hard time getting any offense going until the final game of the series. And now that they did win the final game of the series, I'm hoping they can carry some momentum into what will be a big test in this 2-game series upcoming against the Braves. The Red Sox really could use that momentum. They're playing a very good Braves team with a ton of talent, and they're also facing Chris Sale in the series. He will be pitching, so it'll be interesting how that goes with Chris Sale pitching against his former team and Vaughn Grissom now active on the Red Sox roster. So be sure to tune into tomorrow's episode because I will actually be doing a crossover episode with our Locked On Braves host where we will be talking about all things related to what to expect in the series. So you definitely won't want to miss that episode, but it should be a fun series. I'm glad the Red Sox won this last game against the Twins by a lot, put up a lot of offense, and I'm hoping they can carry that offensive momentum into this upcoming series against the Braves because we really could use that. We could use that momentum and we could use players who are going to continue that energy that they displayed on Sunday. But coming up, I'm going to be giving an update on a pitcher who will be a huge reinforcement for the Red Sox when he comes back. So you definitely won't want to miss this good news. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all of your investment and retirement accounts in one place? With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or are looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They are the #1 finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. Securely link your brokerage accounts for a unified view of your wealth, including 401k and other investments. A comprehensive perspective is what sets apart great investors, and it's how Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to look at your wealth in its entirety. With a community of over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the #1 financial destination. yahoofinance.com. Again, that's yahoofinance.com. I can't emphasize enough how great of a resource this could absolutely be for you, so there's no real reason why you shouldn't check it out and utilize it. Also, check out Locked On Sports today, as we have launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. This is very exciting for Locked On because we are the only network to have a 24/7 sports streaming channel. So if you're looking to stay caught up in all things going on in sports all the time, Locked On Sports Today absolutely has you covered. The Boston Red Sox have been absolutely banged up in terms of their pitching staff and having a lot of guys who have gotten injured so far this season, particularly in the starting rotation. And I was so disappointed continuously hearing names of starting pitchers going down because I said, of course, when the Red Sox have the best starting rotation in baseball right now, of course, guys have to go down with injuries. But somehow this team has been able to still keep themselves afloat with all of these injuries and manage to continue to win games, and the starting rotation has been a key piece in winning those games. So go Andrew Bailey, all these guys subbing in, especially on the bullpen games. The Red Sox are really trying to pull their weight and survive and stay competitive until their main guys come back. And one of those main guys is expected to come back, Nick Pivetta, who is slated to come back and start on Wednesday's game in Atlanta. He had been out due to a right elbow flexor strain since April 9th, and he is scheduled to rejoin the rotation. He is going to have to do a bullpen session again today just to make sure everything is fine. But he did make a rehab start with AAA Worcester last Thursday, and he gave up 4 earned runs on 3 hits and 4 walks, while also striking out 5 across 3 innings. So he really didn't go that deep into the game. But despite those results, the Red Sox were encouraged by how he felt physically in the outing, and they're excited to bring him back into the big league rotation this week. I mean, yes, he had a rough outing in Worcester, but it was literally his first start back from injury, and I'm not reading too much into that. I mean, there have been reports saying we should be concerned about Nick Pivetta because of that one start in Worcester. No, absolutely not. I mean, if this was the middle of the season and he hadn't been injured and he just got sent down to AAA for whatever reason and he had that start, yes, then there would be some conversation about some cause for concern, like, okay, is something going on with Pivetta? Should we be concerned about anything? But that certainly is not the case, and you have to give a pitcher some leeway to make some mistakes when they are coming back from an injury and they're pitching and they're trying to refine their footing and figure out how they can get back to being competitive for their team. So I'm not really moved by his outing in Worcester. If the Red Sox were excited about how he looked, that's definitely a good sign because his health first of all, is the most important thing, and that's something that the Red Sox are definitely not taking lightly when it comes to their players this year, is the injuries, which I like to see. They're definitely taking a good approach with that and not rushing guys back. We saw it with Rafael Devers when he was feeling some soreness earlier on in the season, and the Red Sox had him sit for more games than I think he would have liked to, but it definitely was beneficial for him because now he's back and he's playing well and he looks good, he looks comfortable. So sometimes time can be a blessing and patience can be a virtue for sure. So Nick Pivetta is scheduled to come back Wednesday as long as everything goes well. And I'm hoping he looks good because the Red Sox definitely could use that excitement of having one of their main starters back, even though their guys have looked pretty good in the interim. Like I said, the guys who have filled in have definitely kept them above water in their absence. But Nick Pivetta coming back and having a good quality start could be huge for this team in terms of the overall outlook of the pitching rotation moving forward, because Brayan Bello will eventually be coming back and he's not super far off either. So if they could get Nick Pivetta back and he could be the Nick Pivetta he was before he went on to the injured list, and Brayan Bello comes back and pitches well, then they're back to having their squad back in the starting rotation because they still have Tanner Houck, they still have Cutter Crawford. So now they're adding their guys back in. And then Garrett Whitlock is a little bit further out in terms of his expected timeline to come back. So it won't really be for a while that we see Whitlock, but things seem to be going smoothly with his recovery too, which is always a very good sign. So if the Red Sox could start to get these guys back, and we think their pitching rotation is pitching well now, wait till they have their OG guys back, the guys who were supposed to be in this rotation to begin with. So that's definitely optimistic news. One thing that I will say is definitely got to monitor it over the next couple days, see if anything changes with Pivetta's status. If for some reason he throws a bullpen session and he starts to feel in pain again, or something goes wrong, then they obviously would not have him start the game on Wednesday and they would give him some more time to rest and recover before he comes back. But Alex Cora seemed pretty confident that he'll be able to be activated and be on the active roster again on Wednesday in the series in Atlanta and be able to participate in that game and have somebody back in this rotation who was meant to be in this rotation to begin with. Now, Pivetta going into the season had his question marks of whether he can handle being back in the rotation or if he's really meant to be a bullpen guy, because bullpen Nicky P last year was unstoppable. So I was examining the question of, can he hack it out of the rotation, or is he really better off in the pen? Is that where he belongs at this point? But he definitely has pitched well out of the rotation so far this year, so I'm hoping he can keep that up when he comes back. I'm hoping he's not too rusty to the point where he can't get back to the point that he was at. I don't think that will happen, but you really never know. Sometimes it does happen if a pitcher is really thrown off or they took a while to recover and they come back and they just aren't the same pitcher as they were. Unfortunately, we did see it with Chris Sale over his last couple years pitching with the Red Sox, and there was a decline and he was just never able to climb back up. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen for Pivetta. Ultimately, he wasn't out for that long in the grand scheme of things and didn't miss that much action. So by the time he comes back, hopefully he's not too rusty to the point where he can have a good start on Wednesday night. And we're going to need a good start from him against a Braves team that is very tough to beat. So if he can have that experience of coming back and having a very good start, and not only instills confidence in him, but it instills confidence from us, the fan perspective, in this starting rotation to continue to be able to compete. So good news on Nick Pivetta, hoping he comes back on Wednesday and has a great outing. But what can we do in the meantime? Like I always say, as always, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I will catch you on the flip side.